Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Janice, our love, also known as the First Lady Coach. And thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. Have you ever been frustrated when you're dealing with trouble? Trouble is something that we all cannot avoid. But what if you knew that trouble can actually be a good thing? Stay tuned as we talk about why trouble can actually be a good thing. See you soon. Right, let's go ahead and get into this. Tonight, we are going to be talking about, again, it's Black History Month. We're talking about why trouble can actually be a good thing. Now, we've heard John Lewis, when he was living, say, you need to get into some good trouble, right? Because when we think of trouble, we often think that it is a negative thing. And oftentimes when we try to define what trouble is, it really are things that we're not very comfortable with, right? Whether it's anxiety, concern, danger. I'm listing some of the synonyms of trouble: difficulty, disturbance, inconvenience, mess. How you like that one? Pain, predicament, problem, strain, stress, strife, struggle, suffering, unrest, and woe. And when I talk about trouble with women, I like to call them femtuations, meaning feminine situations that we experience that oftentimes our husbands or men do not experience. But trouble is nothing new, right? Because we all have trouble at various times in our life. In fact, if I ask everybody right now to raise their hand if they're experiencing any kind of trouble right now, everybody's hands go up, right? Exactly, because we all experience trouble. So in fact, trouble is nothing new again, because trouble is actually listed in the King James Version over 109 times. So again, trouble is something that we all experience, and we often are not comfortable with it. So when we are dealing with trouble, we often see it as a bad thing. Again, because I listed a lot of things that don't feel good, like anxiety, stress, struggle, strife. Those things never feel good. But tonight, again, we are going to be talking about why trouble can actually be a good thing. Now, let me go ahead and tell my little family history, right? I'm always going into this family history. Let me tell you about my grandparents. Now, a couple of weeks ago, when I started this Black History series, I introduced you to my grandfather. You all remember my grandfather. He actually survived the massacre of 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Race Massacre that happened. But he went on to not, that was trouble, right? He went on to not give up, but he went on to have several businesses. And actually, that picture that you see him in front of is his own cab company. Now, again, rumors are that he was rich. Now, this is the next generation and the next generation. And I think the money is still hidden in that house that he lived in, but it didn't quite come on over. But anyway, my grandfather was known as a very, very rich man. And he had a wife who is my father's mother. Now, let me tell you the stories that have been passed down through the generations. Now, I never met my grandmother. Just like I talked about last week, I never met my great grandmother on my mother's side. On my father's side, I never got a chance to meet my grandmother, even though I was 6 years old when she passed away. Now, why didn't I meet my grandmother? It's because she lived in California and she did not have the opportunity to meet her granddaughters. So the story is told that my grandfather. Oh, let me introduce you to my grandmother. Okay, let me show you a picture of her. My grandmother, who is Grandma Louise. Isn't she gorgeous? Now check out those finger waves, you all, because she was also a hairdresser. and she was just beautiful. One of my sisters kind of looks a lot like her. So the story is told that they had troubles in their marriage. Now, one thing I do know about my grandmother is that she was 21 years younger than my grandfather. In fact, when he was out there dealing with the race riot of 1921, when he hid under the railroad track with his daughter, she was actually a sophomore in high school. Now, we were able to find the yearbook of 1921 for Booker T. Washington High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we found pictures of my grandmother. And they also had listed, you know how they list most likely to succeed, most likely to be famous, most likely be rich, those kinds of things. Well, my grandmother had a most likely, and her, or a term that they used to describe her. And my grandmother's term was the one with the walk. Now, I don't know what that means about her walk, but I'm assuming that she had some kind of walk if she attracted a man who was 21 years older than her. In fact, that would have made her only a few years older than my aunt. And I can't imagine being a stepmom of someone just a few years younger than you. Well, anyway, the story is told that evidently my grandfather believed that my grandmother had some indiscretions of some type. And the story is told that he sat her down and told her that she needed to be gone out of town within 24 hours or he was going to kill her. Now, talking about trouble, my grandmother experienced some trouble. So the story told that she moved out to California and never came back. Now, my dad was, a young kid that really had to grow up without his mother because my grandparents separated, divorced. I don't know what they divorced, yeah, because she went on to marry again, but they divorced. So that was trouble. So imagine my grandmother having to move out to California. I don't know who she knew. I don't know what the case was because I never had the chance to ask her any questions. And again, my dad wasn't going to talk about it. So we never really got a real good explanation. Now, here lately, over the years, we have been able to meet some of our relatives on my grandmother's side, and they have given us a little more information. But what we know about my grandmother is that she was a cosmetologist who had her own beauty school in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And eventually she went on to do great things as it relates to beauty and hair in California. Now she was like a Madam C.J. Walker kind of person, from what I understand. So I'm excited about that, even though um, you know the news was that she had some indiscretions. But hey, um, she's human, right? And I just wish I had a chance to meet her. Anyway, let's talk about how trouble can be a good thing. And when I think about my own life and the troubles that I've experienced, grandma, I went through a divorce too, right? I had to learn a few things because of trouble. So when we think about trouble and we think of it in a good way, here's the reason why we should think of it in a good way. Because of James 1 and 2, which says, my Christian friends, remember to be happy even when many kinds of trouble happen to you. Troubles can help you. And that comes from James 1 and 2 from the easy version. I love it in the easy version because it talks about troubles. But let me tell you three things that trouble can do for you, which makes it a good thing. And again, we don't like to go through problems, anxiety, difficulties, disturbances. We don't like to be angry. We don't like to go through trouble, but we can always be happy within our struggles and trouble, because again, as James 1 and 2 says, that we should be happy, right? Because we troubles can, what did it say? It said trouble can help you. All right. So let's talk about the ways that trouble can be a good thing. All right. Anybody feeling like trouble can be a good thing yet? Are you getting it yet? All right. So the first way that troubles can help you, and I can imagine this happened for my grandmother, is that it helps you to develop resilience. Now, think about the things that you have gone through in your own life. that you didn't think you would make it through. It helps you to be resilient. And when you are resilient, you're able to handle things better. You're able to bounce back from things. And again, trouble is no fun at first, but again, when we look back, especially after we have gotten through it, then again, we have learned that we perhaps have developed that resilience. So again, I can imagine, just like me, that my grandmother, after she had to go out there to California, that she developed some resilience and she was able to do some wonderful and magnificent things, even though she was not able to stay back and be with her own children. So the second thing that struggles or trouble can do to be a good thing is that it changes your mindset. It's so good when we have gone through some things and then we see things a whole different way. So many times our minds can be stuck on what we have lost, or it can be focused on our own ego, or we're thinking about the damage that it has done in our lives. But think about it from this perspective. When you change your mindset, sometimes you have to realize that it wasn't about you in the first place. It might have been about God and how he wanted to help someone else in their life. So when I look at my own life and the things that I had gone through, divorcing my husband twice actually, and then going on to marry another pastor and dealing with a lot of the challenges related to that, yeah, getting talked about, whatever. You know what? Now it's changed my mindset when God helped me to realize that that was part of my calling, that I am to minister to other pastors' wives who may be dealing with things even greater than what I dealt with, or who may have gone through the same things. Now my mindset has changed. I don't have to complain about that part of my life anymore because God has changed my mindset. And he can do the same thing for you. And changing that mindset again is all about helping you to be happy when you have troubles. Now, I'm not saying you jumping up and down, but again, if you can look past your troubles and realize that on the other side, there's a blessing for you, then it can change your mindset. Can I get an amen, anybody? All right. The last thing that makes trouble a good thing is when it definitely increases our faith. Think about again the things that you have gone through in your own life, and you look back, and when you were going through, you didn't know how you were going to make it through, but you did. So now when these little things come that are nothing like what you have gone through before, or even if they are more, you can look back and see how God brought you through that thing and how he can help you to get through whatever you are going through. So then you can, like James 1 and 2 says, remember to be happy, even when many kinds of trouble happen to you. Troubles can help you. And again, one trouble for me might not be the same trouble for you. We all see things in a different way. But again, when we realize that God is going to bring us through on the other side, if we trust him, if we change our mindset, and if we develop that resilience, that all things are going to work together for our good. You knew I was going to throw that in there, didn't you? Right? Romans 8 and 28. I always have to throw that in there. Anyway, just from a Black history perspective, think about maybe things that have happened in your own family's life, whether it has been racism that you have dealt with or your family has dealt with. Maybe it's been financial problems. Maybe it's been emotional health, or maybe even it's been physical problems. Know that these trouble don't last always, right? And know that one of my other favorite scriptures here, let me tell you about that one. Psalms 46 and 1 is that God is our refuge and strength, and ever-present help right there with us in times of trouble. So write that one down, Psalms 46 and 1. Then write James 1 and 2 down, and you can look at both of those and meditate on those when you are dealing with trouble. Because trouble doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can actually be a good thing. So thank you. That's what we've been talking about tonight. why trouble can actually be a good thing. Now, it looks like I have a lot of comments going on out there. I need to see what's going on. Yes, Andrea, having that growth mindset definitely helps your perspective. Because again, if we think we are being punished, or if we see things from a standpoint of that somebody is picking on us, right, then we might stay stuck. But having that growth mindset makes a difference. Yes, increase your faith. Psalms 46:1. Thank you for putting that in there. Whoever put that in there. I have to check out and see what's going on different channels. You know, I'm live on Facebook and LinkedIn. But yes, thank you for your comments. But yes, we have to realize that trouble's going to be here, right? No matter what we do, who we are, trouble is going to come our way sooner or later. And it's our mindset, it's being able to be resilient, and it increases our faith. So don't don't throw a pity party the next time you have trouble. And again, you might be going through it now. Hopefully this encourages you to hang on in there, because trouble doesn't last always. All right, so that is my lesson for tonight. But yes, I am so excited. I have so many things coming up. I do want to announce that Pearls Perfected is going to be growing.